It's super important. The second thing is, I believe Richard's main argument is that somehow publishing a smart contract and then throwing away the keys is more secure than the type of code that Bitcoin has. I think the counter fact to that is like smart contracts upgrade all the time. You have Uniswap V1, you have Uniswap V2, you have Uniswap V3. The same people can publish a new contract and just tell everybody, hey, here's the new contract code that you have to follow. And people do this all the time on
Yeah, but that's a superior security model that was actually very innovative, and the same one that I came up with. Everyone that makes a smart contract could include admin keys and introduce middleman security, beg some other guy not to do something evil. The right way to do security is to make the individuals upgrade their node and use social consensus to choose what the safe thing is. Uniswap V1 chose not to have their keys and make everyone else go through the hard work of moving all their liquidity manually and all their trading manually to a new system. It's a superior security model. So not having admin keys is what crypto was designed around, and having to force everyone to do that work to verify that they're on the real thing is the most secure thing you can have, which is, by the way, those systems have operated perfectly flawlessly for years. Bitcoin hasn't. Bitcoin has had, I don't understand why you guys are so mad at reality. Your devs on your team injected a bug, and now you're yelling at me like it's my fault. Your devs on your team injected a bug. It's your problem.
What people are pushing back on is the misrepresentation that somehow there was some big problem with Bitcoin, right?
There's big problems all the time, but you guys just don't read the CVE reports.
Bitcoin only got stronger when that bug got fixed. I don't understand how Richard is saying it's a bad thing. This is a good thing.
It's a good that it got fixed. It's just spaghetti code that's likely to get more bugs.
That doesn't mean it's spaghetti code that's likely to improve anything.
All the time, right? So he's over-exaggerating a relatively small thing on a very secure system and basically play around with this idea that somehow smart contracts are more secure. They're not. Yes, they have a property that once you publish it and throw away the admin keys, you can't change that contract. But the people who publish the smart contract can publish a new one. And Hex, I haven't looked that deeply into Hex. It's not kind of like on the
Please don't.
I think it's better that you guys don't even talk about Hex. It's too confusing for you guys. It's better we just talk about Ethereum.
This is what makes it popular. It's too confusing for anyone. It's bullshit.
It's literally, Hex is just Bitcoin with a proof of work change. We use ETH miners and we inflate to get people to lock their coins instead of blow up the environment with SHA-256. That's it. That's all it is. It's not hard.
So you just
the exciting thing about like Bitcoin innovation that keeps coming back up, that hey, Bitcoin doesn't innovate. The architecture there is that the base layer is simple. The base layer is not going to change. It's hard money. And people like that. And then there are Bitcoin layers, right? I work on one of them, right? There are all sorts of Bitcoin layers. Lightning is one, Stacks is one, RSK is one. There are new ones coming up, like the sidechain on Cosmos, and that's where experimentation happens. If you want more privacy, if you want Tornado Cash-like stuff, you would publish that on a Bitcoin layer. Stacks could do it.
Well, Liquid has it as well. All transactions inside the Liquid sidechain have what do you call them?
They're
confidential transactions. Thank you.
Hey, do you run a Liquid node, Tom?
I don't at the moment because I travel too much, but I plan to when I take some time off. And
don't you have to pay someone for a hardware security module to run a Liquid node?
Yes, Liquid is federated, but Stacks is not. Stacks is permissionless.
I don't need to run a Liquid node. I can choose to if I want to.
I would rather run Bitcoin than a Liquid node, truthfully.
So Richard, I have a question for you. You were a big supporter of Bitcoin. You explained why your perspectives changed. What are things you agree with when talking about Tornado? We had things that you guys agreed on earlier in the space without being in the space at the same time. You made similar points. What are points you'd agree with that were mentioned by Munib, Toyn, or Shane?
So if you're worried about 51% attacks, then the network that has the highest hash rate is most secure about that. That would be Bitcoin. If you're worried about being able to buy $1 billion at once and not move the price, that would be Bitcoin. If you're worried about regulatory certainty and being registered as legal tender in El Salvador, that would be Bitcoin. If you want to put a laser eyes profile and feel good eating steak and hang out with other people that only eat steak, that would be Bitcoin. But all of these things has an opposite side. So yes, you can buy $1.5 billion of it without moving the price. But guess what? The price doesn't move, because if you buy $1.5 billion, that doesn't move it. So geez, how much do you have to buy to actually get it to move? You see? And so it's the same thing goes with the
This is a
51%
totally
of tax stuff.
fiat-minded argument. Again, Richard is only interested in rugging y'all for USD. He's not interested. Like, there's like no fundamental difference between your project.
I'm the self-help author that gives away free self-help book for years.
Self-help author, my
you
man,
are not.
it's 290 pounds. What are you talking about? No one is seeking help from you.
So let me get this straight. If Michael Jordan's coach couldn't dunk on him, you couldn't learn from him. If a homeless guy in the street tells you to brush your teeth, you don't brush your teeth. You can leave your fat shaming at home, dude. I give Bitcoiners free money. I save Bitcoiners from scams. I try and make Bitcoin more secure.
Free money. I said this. I literally said this to Alex Mashinsky's face in 2019. You cannot give everyone 7% interest. You're running a Ponzi scheme, and there's no difference here. There's
Bitcoin
no
miners make it.
Money.
Bitcoin miners make that. Where's the Ponzi?
It's
Bitcoin miners mint air out of thin. I've minted Bitcoin.
They don't. They burn electricity. There's a difference.
No, it's worse. It's a huge negative externality. But for some reason, you like enriching hardware companies and electric companies. It's silly. They murder the Bitcoin price to buy pollution. Instead, you could just not murder the Bitcoin price and not buy the pollution. And as long as you still have a functioning consensus network, everybody's happy. The only time...
That's as big as long as...
No, but as soon I invented the term just-in-time security. I invented the term just-in-time security, which means when the government starts kicking down doors and making problems for everyone, you do a proof of work change. If the government started doing SHA-256 mining right now, how would Bitcoin protect itself? With a proof of work change. If the government started knocking down Ethereum miners' doors and making them change transactions, how would you fix that? With a proof of work change. So it's all social consensus anyway.
If the government broke down your door and threw you in prison for 20 years, how would Hex perform?
It would perform, well, I mean, okay, let's do that in theory. People think I have 85% of the supply. So if I go to jail forever, I don't know, maybe that's like Satoshi going to be dead, right? So the origin address has never sold a coin, never. But the Ethereum founder sold coins, and to tell you the truth, I don't know where Satoshi's kids may have put his coins. And I don't know who he had kids with. And I don't know how good his operational endpoint security was.
Never sold coins. You're going to pretend really you haven't dumped on your PEX back.
No, he dumped all the Ethereum that people paid on day one to get his coins.
No comment, Tone.
Yep.
What about...
I got a lot of really cool stuff. I'm selling something for it, ain't I?
What about the vulnerability if coins ever become active? And all of these OGs, who do you think Satoshi is?
I mean, it doesn't, like, I think Satoshi's an English-speaking, rather works at a college kind of guy. Based on his spelling analysis, he puts 2 spaces after his periods, which means he's one of the last guys to learn on typewriter, so he's probably about my age or older. I'm 42. He spelled a lot of stuff with SE instead of ZE, which is an English thing. And if you do timing analysis on the times and when he posted and how quickly he responded to other people, you can't respond quickly to other people when you're asleep. So you can actually tell when a guy's awake because he can't queue messages to try and beat the timing analysis. So I think he's an English person on the UK time zone, probably based on the way his code looks, rather noob. You know, he wasn't used to working in a dev team. He's kind of doing it on his own.
So I want to bring up, we've got a lot of members. So we mentioned Hex. James, I'll give you the mic. I've got a question for the panelists. But James, I know you were waiting to speak, so I'll give you the mic.
And what about if coins start moving? Like all of this, Bitcoin's price and everything that's happening right now, like in the value of $1 trillion is all reliant on the coins not moving. What happens if the coins move? And what about that vulnerability? Like, I feel
it's not true, man.
Bitcoiner just ignores that.
Nah, it's not true. We have a number for that called days destroyed. We measure the length of time that a coin has remained dormant. And so if you look on bitinfocharts.com, you just search Bitcoin rich list, you can actually see a chart of how long coins have been sitting there. And, you know, some large amount of coins, which, by the way, is funny, market cap's supposed to be circulating supply. Circulating supply means moving. Bitcoin's founders, million coins, are sitting there counting as circulating supply, even though they've never moved. It's a scam. So actually, Bitcoin's market cap is about 5% lower than publicly advertised because everyone's a scammer.
But that doesn't matter. Well, why does that matter if Bitcoin's market cap is 5% lower or greater? It fluctuates quite a bit.
Why not just measure it accurately? Why not just measure the coins that have moved that are actually circulating? Why not? Or publish both numbers. I don't mind.
Again, there's no CEO of Bitcoin, Richard.
This is a coin market cap ranking site thing. This doesn't have to do with actual Bitcoin.
Go talk to them. Well, it's a complaint for Coin Market Cap, the website.
We've already got a lawsuit against them. I don't think they want to talk to me. So
excellent.